I'm gonna introduce the main idea about the top and the bottom game. I always like to create in a structured way. It means that for me, uh, and it's important to understand how the human body is constituted and how we can connect like in a structural way to defend, and how we can generate movements in order to accomplish a goal in jiu-jitsu, right? So for me, I have this approach. First line that I see is the line of the feet. I want to keep my opponent normally behind my feet, and my opponent wants to go from my feet towards my head. That's the very basic principle of the top and the bottom game. Fischer, what he wants to accomplish: pass my feet, go, push me around, and come, put his head close to my head, and control. Now, when he passes over my hip, I am pretty neutralized. My chest is open. I am completely exposed to his attack. So I call this the first line of defense of the guard player. When my back is on the ground and my hip is a little bit raised, see, not on the ground. Why? Because I still have some mobility. If my hip is stuck on the ground, I cannot move. Second thing, I have to find a connection point. My connection point can be, for example, on his hips, or on the shoulders, on the biceps. Of course, if I have a bit of distance and I could see it, I could also connect here on his knees. Of course, always remember my shoulder has to be a bit like in the front. But we're gonna talk about this soon. Now, in this situation, I want to keep my knees so around that close that my elbows can much touch my thighs. See? All right, and I want to keep my hips, see, moving. I don't want to overstretch my knees. Why? Because it's very easy for him just to take my legs and stretch it like backwards. Yeah, see, now I lost everything. I want to make sure that I have, when I'm playing guard, when I'm in the bottom, I want to have this kind of distance here. I always almost engage my abs. My abs are always like working to create that mobility. See, it's just the middle of my back which is on the ground. My shoulders are out and my hips are moving. Now, said that, I have my connections. The moment I have the connections, I can move. If I cannot connect on his body for any reason, his upper body for any reason, okay, I might connect to the ground. And on the ground, I can still create some movement, which I call like the muscles, right? Because the structure is the bone, and the movements are the muscles, like what makes, in the joints, what makes moving, right? So, now, Fischer, by knowing this, and Fischer being my anti-game, he wants to disconnect me from him. So my feet are nowhere to be connected. I cannot generate any movement. Leave my feet on the air, like yeah. See, I cannot. He's actually redirecting my whole body just using his arms. Like he can move my hip, he can do anything he wants with me, up, down, back. Okay, so he is now connected to me. Now he can redirect the action. So I want to keep him in the first line of defense, and in my first layer of defense, which is behind the feet. I want to keep the structure, which I call the wall. The elbows connect to the thighs. I don't want to overstretch my thighs, my hip, overextend the hip, so I lose that connection, because then I will be in danger. Here I can be safe. Okay. Now, by knowing that it's bad for him to stay there, and all the time the other player, the top player, is doing all the reverse of the bottom player. So I connect, he disconnects. I want to keep myself in this line. He forces myself, he wants to flank and force myself to the side. Before he comes that far, I have to stop. And now, see, the moment I feel that he passed the foot, he split my legs and passed the foot line, it's time to change to my secondary line of defense, which is this one here to the side. In my secondary line of defense and my secondary layer of defense, which is the layer of the knees, we're gonna use my, put this knee down on the ground. I'm gonna be using my foot as a hook. See, I have a bottom hook and I have a top hook. Bottom hook is responsible for limiting the lower body movements of him, and the upper hook is responsible to controlling the upper body movements of him. So, at the moment I lose the line of the feet, the layer of the feet, the moment he's advancing on my shin towards my knees, I have to use then my feet as hooks. And hooks are instruments used to control the opponent. Hooks can be anywhere. I can hook him here, for example. See, the feet are already passed, but it doesn't mean that the feet are neutralized. I can use the feet as weapons. See, I can move, control him, and redirect the action. I can hook him here. If he goes on combat base, step this leg, please. I can hook him from outside, which is the De La Riva hook. We talked about this. I can hook from inside. So hooks are instruments that will control and redirect the action. So my secondary line of defense is not bad because I can still use the hooks, but my upper body has to be protected. So now I have the frames. The frames, when they connect together, I create the wall. See, I have one frame here, which is my forearm, and I have another frame here, which is my shin. The moment I connect the frames, I create a wall. And now, he will try, of course, his priority now, when I have this here, is to always, he's always going from the feet towards my head. He wants to attack my head and control my head. So, but in order to move on, he has to deal with a problem here, which is what is the problem that is most annoying him now, preventing him to attack me, are the hooks. So he has to dismantle my hooks. Hook number one is out. So, and my leg is disconnected in the air. See, he's holding, and now he disconnected the second hook. Now, Fischer is gonna try to pass over the line of my knee. See, my hip is open here, so he's gonna place a wedge. I talk about what the wedge is later, but now he's gonna place a wedge here behind, in the front of my hip. So he already blocked this wall. This wall is still open, but now he's gonna shoot an underhook. His head is gonna enter, and he will be controlling. Now, the moment he's controlling my inner space, I have to react. I cannot allow this to happen. I lost the lower body frames already. I am here, right? He's pretty much coming close to me. But I have my two important frames here, which is like the forearms. A common mistake, people, they neglect this arm. For example, his near side arm. They grab from outside, for example. They try to hug the neck. If you're doing this, you're bringing the opponent close to your chest, and by doing this, you're gonna be losing. It calls on the principle. When his head goes to my on my chest, I am losing. I have to be sure that I protect my chest against his head. I want to make sure that his head is not connected to my chest at any moment. So by saying that, I need the frames. The moment he's coming, applying his pressure, I have my frames. Now, see, his head is inside. I have to reverse the situation I need to put my head inside, at least under his shoulder. The moment my head enters here, it gets difficult for him to work. He has to deal with the situation. He has to go around my head. He has to go back, do something. But he can't control me anymore because I am pretty much connected to my frames. See? And I like to call also attention to my shoulders. My shoulders, they are never relaxed like this. I'm giving him chokes. I want my shoulders connected to my jaw, to my mandible, both. Now I have my frames and my chin is also connected to my chest. See, I'm like this. I'm not open like this. I'm more closed. Now it's very easy when I have this way of coming, like engaging him, is that it's easy to put my head inside when he comes. I put my head inside. But now we call upon the other layer of the movement. Now I need to create a space. I will call the hip escape to move, and I will insert anything inside that I can see. I insert my knee because probably there's not so much space here for my foot, so I insert my knee. And take a look, I lifted this a bit. Now see, I have the structure. See, my elbow is connected to my thigh. Now, by saying that, I have my elbow and my thigh, I have my knee inside. The moment he's coming, my head has to enter. I'm gonna be creating space with movements, right? I create the space. Now I can push him away, see? And if he's coming, come closer. See, I still have another art of framing him here. Gonna be talking with frames soon, but look. Now I can frame on his shoulder here, right? I keep connected here. I don't want any surprise to come into that space in between my arms and my legs here in my hip area. I don't want anything to come here. No knee or no arm. I want to keep that close. Now, I will be moving my shoulder away. See? When I do this, I create space for the other foot to come and connect anywhere I can. Bam. And now, I can regain the main defense line. Okay? This is the basic principle of, basic concept of the bottom game and how I keep the wall. See, that's the first structure I want. I don't want to be here, disconnect to him because the guy is grab my feet and play with me, okay? I want to find any connection to him, all right? Now, let's review. He's going to be moving. He moves. I need to see my forearm is here. I don't want to go here. All right? I don't want to be doing these things like that. I want to keep my shoulders and my chin, like everything connected like this. Like I have a helmet. And now I'm going to be searching for a hook. Bam, one. I search for one hook. I search for the other hook. Two. Now I have him on my side. Now his biggest concern are the hooks. He has to dismantle the hooks. Bam, one hook is out. Second hook will be out. Soon he's gonna be passing. He wants to throw his head inside, pin my back down the ground, and open my chest the way he can. All right? Grabbing my head, overhook, for example. Yes. Right? Then I'm pretty much in danger. Okay? So, back to the secondary line of defense. I now, in the layer of my knees. Here I'm pretty much defended still. But at the moment I'm losing the control of the hooks, which is a very important control for me. If I lose the hooks, one hook, two, I keep that structure. You see, my frames are here, especially preventing him to grab my head. If I don't pay attention to this detail here that I have, locking his shoulders with one frame. See, he opened the gate already. He opened the wall. But I still have this one and that one. Then it will be dangerous for me to defend. All right? The moment his head is coming, see my head, if my head stays out, if I'm looking like this, it is a problem for me. I need to go back. I need to address this as soon as I see he's coming down. I'm gonna put my head inside. Okay, my head has to go. Imagine that my head, like your head's going to the chest here. Imagine that I'm doing this. Okay? But not leaving the head outside, because that's the beginning of the end. So when he comes, my head is inside. I generate movement, I escape, and I connect. See? My elbow and my knee, and creating the wall again. If I have enough space, I put my foot straight away. When I put my foot straight away, I can already start thinking about regaining the line, the first line. Sometimes what happens is that when I'm here, the guy is extremely tight on me, his weight is already on me. Put your weight like down. Yeah, and there is no space here for me to put the head and anything. Now I need to create an explosive move, which is the bridge. And by using the bridge, I can always force one wedge inside, either the upper wedge, this knee, or the lower wedge. See? Now, as I already talked about the wedge, that's what the knee is going to be doing. See? It's like opening that gap here so I can always push myself away. When I push myself away, see, I can always find space for the other foot. See, and I am already back to my main defense line. All right? That's the first basic concept in the structure. Okay.